Ahoy, ladies! Didn't see you there. Would you guys like to set sail on this ocean of flavor with me? I'll be your captain. I'm Steve Harrington.
Hey gamers, have you ever wondered how this works on Sadako's kit? The whole manifestation thing? Well, I did as well. But don't worry, I've put in the time to work out exactly how it works to give you a better understanding of how you can use it. And let me tell you, it's fucked. Just like everything with Dead by Daylight. But it's consistently fucked, and I've found a way to work around how broken it is. The first one we're going to start with is when you're demanifested. This is the state where you're not able to hit the survivors and you're able to teleport to your TVs. What we have here is my friend in the game with me, looking at me as I manifest and demanifest. So you can see what it looks like on the killer side and then what it looks like on the survivor side in real time, one-to-one to each other. What you'll notice if you look closely is the time in which you turn invisible from the killer's perspective is slightly out of sync to when you actually turn invisible for the survivor's perspective. To showcase this a little better, this is my Sony Vegas file, this is the video, the world's worst video editor, never get Sony Vegas.
And I've got to say, in all honesty, it's the biggest piece of dog shit.
But what I can do here is go frame by frame by pressing left and right on the keyboard. Now, if we go to when my fingers are completely invisible, you can still see I'm very clearly visible on the survivor side. You actually have to wait a couple frames before I actually become invisible on the survivor side from initially demanifesting. So this is as soon as I've demanifested. As you can see, these are my hands coming up from when I just finished the demanifestation. And then invisible, still visible. This is very important if you want to try and make distance while demanifested, because you have to wait a little bit from when you're invisible on your client before you start moving. Because if you don't, the survivors are going to see where you're going towards and it's going to break the entire mind game in the first place. Now, I specifically mentioned this is happening at the start of a demanifestation. This is very important because there is a massive bug right now with Sadako, where the time in which you're invisible on the killer side is not one-to-one the time that you're invisible on the survivor side. As you see, when I appear, it is near enough one-to-one from when I initially demanifest. However, because I disappear sooner, what this means is over time, the longer that you're demanifested, the more out of sync this becomes. And this can get really bad, as we can see in this example. Here I've been demanifested for multiple minutes at this point, so it has gone really out of sync. Here we are back in Vegas again, just to illustrate it a bit more. So let's look at these hands. What I'm going to do is I'm going to leave this loop and start moving towards the Sheva once I'm fully invisible. So I'm invisible now, and I leave. As you can see, I'm still clearly visible on the survivor side. Still clearly visible on the survivor side, even though I'm completely invisible here. I've only just started to manifest right here, and I'm still completely visible. And then I've manifested and I'm still completely visible again. For this entire time that I was supposed to be invisible, I'm not. As I've only just gone invisible, you'll notice that I begin to appear. You'll notice if I go invisible again. Now, I am invisible here, but now I've appeared much sooner than I should have. So the longer you stay in demanifestation, the more out of sync this becomes. Now, that's okay because I found a way to circumvent this. All time. Health. I can record it myself, and then I'll have to all left turn it. Let me tap it once. Was I invisible there? Right, so tapping it resets it. And then I'm gonna go as soon as I disappear on my client. And then you see me at the start, right? So that is how to fix this issue. So the way to make this consistent is if you're going to use this invisibility to try and gain distance on someone, first you want to tap your manifestation button. Just tap it one time. Tapping it will cause your character to appear, which will then reset the cycle of when you're invisible on the killer's perspective and the survivor's perspective. Now remember, as we discussed earlier, you're still going to disappear on your perspective slightly sooner than when the survivors see you disappear. So tap your manifest, then once you're invisible on your perspective, wait about half a second and then begin moving. This will make you 100% invisible every single time on the survivor's perspective. Let me tap it once. Was I invisible there? Let me tap it once. Was I invisible there? This is especially required with Raiku's watch, since it exponentially increases how far out of sync the survivor's perspective and the killer's perspective is. So if you're using Raiku's watch and you're not doing this, odds are that you're not actually getting any value out of this add-on. Okay. Okay. For those who want the exact time of how long you've got to wait, I've done it right here. What we've got here is, again, back in Sony Vegas. So at this frame is when she disappears fully. You can see, you can still see the thumb just about here. If I bring it back a bit, it's a bit more obvious, so we can still see it. 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 And then here, fully disappeared. However, as you can see, on the survivor's perspective, I'm still blatantly visible. If we go forward a little bit, this is when the timer starts, when I'm invisible, but I can still see Sadako on the survivor side. So if we keep going up to this point, this is when she's completely invisible. It does look like she's there, but it isn't. That's just a bit of the palette. So it's 0.233 seconds from when you completely disappear on your client to when you completely disappear on the survivor side. Now, I say go a little bit longer than 233 because I have a feeling that ping is going to play a factor into this, because ping plays a factor into pretty much everything that Dead by Daylight has. So just a little bit longer. The distance you're going to lose from waiting just a little bit longer won't really be noticeable, but you'll guarantee that you're actually invisible for the survivors. Whoa, that got very technical there. Whole 7 minutes that just took just to describe the demanifestation. But don't worry guys, it's not going to take another 7 minutes to describe the manifestation, because for some reason the manifestation invisibility, where you intermittently go in and out, is perfectly synced. I don't know how they could perfectly sync that, but they can't perfectly sync the demanifestation. But there it is. I would say it's one of life's many mysteries, but let's be honest, it's just because behavior are dog shit at coding. So just remember, if you're going to use the invisibility while you're demanifested, wait a little bit, just a little bit. Also tap your manifestation so it's perfectly in sync 100% of the time. If you are manifested, however, you don't have to worry about this.